Hello folks, welcome to our first ever Gunpla Beauty Contest Japan 2021 or GBCJ 2021 for short. This is the first time ever Bandai is holding a online competition for Gunpla building, and it is definitely quite unique and interesting. Of course, given that this year there is no GBWC competition in person worldwide, this is the competition that's going to be going in place of GBWC. Hopefully this will be the one and only Gunpla Beauty contest online, and by next year, my forecast, by next year 2022, there should be GBWC contest in person worldwide. That's my prediction. Now obviously this video is not going to be covering all the entries from Japan, because if I cover all the entries from Japan, it is going to be hours long. So I want to pick some of the best entries to me that I believe would warrant your time, and therefore this video is still 18 minutes long. It's still quite long because there are a lot of great entries from Japan. So grab a cup of coffee or tea or whatever you fancy and join this session together with me. Now I will share with you my top picks at the end of the video, which are the ones that we believe that will be winning some of the prizes at the end of this competition. So you can skip straight to the end if you don't want to see all the entries that I picked, or you just want to see who are the ones that we believe that's going to win some prizes at the end of the video. So click on the timestamp below. Now there is actually quite a lot of unique entries in this time in the Gunpla Beauty Contest Japan 2021, and I hope you guys can see some of the entries and maybe get some inspiration, ideas for your future build, or maybe for your GBWC 2022 entry as well. And of course, the rules of this competition is actually quite unique for Japan. For Japan, they are actually going with a universal century theme. So you must have at least one UC kit in your entry. So if you're building like a big diorama with a few different mobile suits, you can actually mix and match, but the contest rule states that you need to have at least one universal century mobile suit in there. So therefore you're probably wondering, hey, how come I've not seen any Gundam seed or Turn A Gundam or Gundam-ish pictures so far? That is because this contest so far, it is only restricted to the UC based mobile suit for this contest. So how are the winners picked for GBCJ 2021? Well, the criteria are pretty much the same as what we've seen from GBWC before. So the winners are picked based on ideas, craftsmanship, and also paint job. And I think when it comes to the three key criteria, paint job and craftsmanship, I think in terms of Japan builders, they are pretty much all on par, right? The one that would really stand out and get this guy a champion trophy is really the idea. How can you create such an interesting build that when people see it, they will go, wow, that is such an amazing build. I really like it, and therefore it should win a prize. So it's the same winning criteria for GBWC that's been applied onto the Gunpla Builders contest. Now, there's some observation when I look through all the entries for Gunpla Builder Contest Japan, and there were a lot of entries. So what Japan has done is they've actually segregated the entries by age. So they were under 18, under 10, and also above 22. There were so many different entries that were shared for this particular contest, but there was some observation that I see which was quite interesting. And number one, even though this is a universal century theme competition, you actually don't see a lot of Gundam entry into this competition, which I thought was quite interesting. And there were really quite a lot of mono eyes in this competition, which I thought was quite interesting and also very, very unique. The second observation that I found, which was to my surprise, because the end date of entry was actually 15th of August yesterday, and there were actually a lot less entry than what I anticipated for a country that is as big as Japan. Maybe that is due to the short time frame of 1 month, because remember this contest was only announced about a month ago. I think it was on 15th of July. So most participants only had really 1 month to actually build and paint and snap pictures to send for this particular contest, and I think maybe that's one of the reasons. And of course, if you guys have seen our previous video as well, there was a big shortage of Gunpla kits at retail stores too. So I suppose for some of the younger Gunpla builders who are not very savvy or don't have a big UC collection as well, they will probably be struggling like, where am I going to find a UC kit if I can't even buy the kit that I fancy and I want to build for this particular contest. So that is actually quite interesting. Third observation, and maybe this is one reason why we don't see that many entries as what we've seen as compared to GBWC, is probably all the big guns and the professional builders are saving their big entry and big ideas for GBWC 2022. And I believe in GBWC 2022, it's probably gonna be a very intense competition given how everybody is taking a lot more time and also resources and attention to build their particular entry. So I am actually quite excited and I can't wait to see what everybody have in store for GBWC 2022. Now, if you're participating in your country's upcoming Gunpla Builder contest, you can probably take stock and learn some of the mistakes a lot of the Japanese builders here have encountered while they're sharing their submission for GBCJ 2021. Given that this is an online contest, it is actually a little bit more different than how you would typically submit your entry to a physical GBWC competition. And number one, because you only submit 4 photos, you really have to ensure that you submit the best possible high resolution photo possible to really wow the judges. And when I look at some of the entries here, I actually find there were some particular kits that were really well built, but the pose was really bad. No relation to any of the pictures you're seeing here. This is just some general observation. Some of the kit that was submitted to the website for this particular contest, the pose were a little bit static, it was a little bit boring, and that kind of marred the entire look and feel of the entry. And because this is a online competition, tip number 2 is to make sure that you know how to take a proper photo of your entry. As you can see from some of the photos here, some of the competitors actually put up a very nice place to actually take a photo for their particular kit, so they actually have a proper white background or black background, where some of the other entries, they don't really have a proper setting to take a photo of their particular entry. So that is something that you guys need to consider as well. If you have a light box, that will be great, or you can just go to your favorite hobby store and take your favorite kit over there to take the pictures at their particular store. And number 3 is light. Some of the entries here, as I mentioned again, have very nice build, but in terms of light, there's just way too much light and too harsh light on the particular subject matter. So as you can see here, this has become a toy photography plus a Gunpla building contest, right? There is an added dimension to the difficulty for GBCJ 2021. So it's not just as simple as if I build a great kit, I will definitely get the attention of the judges. It's not really just that. You also need to really make sure that when you submit the photos, you have all those things right. The pose, the light, and also very importantly to take your picture at the highest resolution available. Some of the entries, as you can see here, they are not very sharp, but that's because when they actually upload the photos onto Twitter or onto the website, they did not really upload the high resolution photos, and therefore the entry just do not do it justice for the particular kit. So that is actually quite a shame. And lastly, if possible, you will want to showcase as much detail as possible, right? You would know best in terms of where do you spend most time in terms of adding details to your kit. So yeah, that's something that you probably want to take some close-up snaps onto your particular entry. Now, before I share with you my topics for GBCJ 2021, I just have to say, with caveat, all these entries are picked based on my personal preference, right? I am not a professional Gunpla judge, but based on the kits that I've seen so far from all the entries in Japan, it is definitely, some of them are really mind-blowing. One thing that we do know for sure is, the judges always try to pick a kit that actually has a very nice diorama base. And if you guys remember our previous interview with Mr. Eric Young, GBWC Malaysia champion, he has always mentioned this, right? When you're submitting a kit for competition, always make sure you have a setting or a diorama for your kit. It is not enough to just build a very good looking kit with a lot of details, great kit bash, and also amazing paint job. you really need to have something to anchor your kit onto. So it is not just enough to build a great looking kit, but make sure that the kit actually has a setting or a place to give it a little bit of context and a little bit of story. And that is the reason why it is so hard to pick some of the best looking kits which we think will win in GBCJ 2021, because truly some of the entries here, when you look at it, they look amazing. Yes, great weathering, great paint job, a lot of nice added details, different color schemes as well. But one thing that all lack is the setting, right? The big diorama base or the small diorama base that gives them a little bit of story of what it is all about, whether it is in motion, it is fighting with another mobile suit. That seems to be a little bit missing from some of the entries as well. But that is also my biggest struggle. Despite not having that nice diorama to anchor your entry upon, there was still some kit when I saw it and I was like, wow, just stand alone on its own. Some of these kids entries really look very nice. They're not overdone, not too weathered. Like for example, if you guys have seen our GBWC Philippines coverage for the last 2 years, you will know that most of the entries from Philippines tend to be very, very gritty, dirty, and also heavily weathered. But in Japan, the entry here, all of them seems to be a lot more cleaner. They are focusing a lot on polish finishing and also overall aesthetic in terms of adding more details, giving it that a very cool detailed aesthetic look like what we've seen from the new Transformers series before. And here are my top picks for GBCJ 2021 winners, and also some of the entries which I believe will warrant some form of recognition from the judges. And the first one is actually this very nice looking white base with all the other details in a very nice hanger diorama that gives it a little bit more story and also context. Next up is this very nice Podball and Space Jabber combination by Studio Rihito. If you guys follow Studio Rihito on Twitter, you will know that his build are always very clean, usually white, and also aesthetically pleasing in a very clinical aesthetic design language. So yeah, I've always liked seeing his new and also crazy build as well. Finally, we have a Gundam. This is Gundam Mark V. Looks very, very nice, and as I mentioned earlier, Gunpla builders in Japan really love to build kits that is aesthetically clean, usually all white, very clean paint job and a lot of details. So that's actually very, very nice. And this particular entry really got me excited. This particular color scheme on this particular mobile suit really reminded me of the Gundam Kyrios. When I first saw it, it's like, hey, what is a Gundam Kyrios doing in a UC based GBCJ 2021 contest? But yeah, I actually had to do a double take because I really thought I was looking at the Gundam Kyrios. And this particular entry is actually quite interesting. I really dig this entry. It's a combination of few different mobile suits, as you can see here. I hope it wins because again, it looks a lot like Studio Rihito entry again. All very clean, very nice. And this is, I don't remember what's the name of this particular kit, but it does look like a very heavily powered GM in a high grade 144 scale kit with a very nice little bit of shading and also tons of decals to make it look very, very nice. And finally, not finally, but this is, I think, what most Mono Eye fans would want to aspire to. This particular diorama of all the Mono Eyes, they do look like they are on standby or ready to participate into a battle. And that is something that I really like in Gundam competition, where they submit a piece that looks like it is actually in motion. Which comes to my next particular entry that I really like as well, this particular Zaku Thunderbolt entry. As you can see here, his left hand is trying to grab the particular bazooka rifle, and at the same time it looks like the whole thing is in motion. And here we have the Sinanju with an amazing gloss chameleon colored, I don't know what's the name of this color paint scheme, but it looks really nice just on its own. This particular kit, the paint job itself is really wow. I just really dig this particular paint job. And finally, who I think will win the particular grand prize, it is this particular entry of a Z Gundam, or was it Penelope? Sorry, I can't really see from now, but it does look extremely well built, a lot of detail, and it looks like something that you will see in a GBWC contest. So as I mentioned earlier, seems like quite a lot of the big hitters that we usually see for GBWC is not appearing in this GBCJ 2021. I suppose all the big hitters are really saving their bullets for the next contest in 2022, which I think is going to be very, very interesting. So that's all, folks. This is all the entry that we've seen from GBCJ. There's still a few more entries which I think is quite noteworthy, so you can see them and let me know what you guys think about it. But for now, I think it's crucial that everybody stays safe, you know, continue building your Gunpla, continue buying your Gunpla kit as well. And just a little bit of question for all you fans, would you guys like to see a lot more long form content like this where I just ramble on and on, or do you like to see a lot more short form content, you know, videos less than 2 to 3 minutes? So love to hear from you guys, and when you guys do comment about your challenges and things that you guys want to buy, do remember to always tell me which country you're from, so when you guys are asking for help, I will know exactly where you are from and how I can actually reach out to help you guys out. So until then, thank you guys so much for watching this particular video. I know it's a little bit long, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, you know, hanging out with me. But do let me know what you guys think of all the entries from GBCJ 2021. And if you're new to our channel, hey, you know what to do. I don't need to tell you what to do. You should know what to do when you like a particular channel on YouTube. You should like, subscribe, and share as well. Okay, so till then, I will see you guys down in the comment section below. Until the next video, take care, stay safe, and continue building your Gunpla.